Let's talk about the Rams' defense.
It looks like it actually.
How did Shanahan get the best of him last night?
Well, we always talk about Kyle Shanahan play calling, right? And as a defensive lineman, I'm looking at the game. I'm like, damn, he tests his techniques.
You said the D word. I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, he tests edges. He out leverages you before they snap the ball. It's all of those things. But really watching that game, if you a football fan, it was a bludgeoning. That's what it really boiled down to. And football still comes back to this in context, like big people moving big people. And there's plays when Trent Williams has a one-on-one block and he turns his defensive lineman and knocks him to the ground. There are plays when Juszczyk comes across the line of scrimmage, interior bump on Von Miller. Kittle still runs his feet and pancakes him. A physical run game. The running backs were looking for contact. It wasn't to avoid it. And if you looked at the game and you looked on the sideline at Kyle Shanahan, you knew what it was about to be. Because his mindset was like, look, we are about to dominate these dudes at the line of scrimmage. I will use a lot of other words because I was using them last night. And every time, look, the cold tub in the Rams facility is full. Every player on that team was in the cold tub and hot tub doing hot and cold contracts.
They're like warming it up because there's so many people in there. Mina.
Well, but you're right. It's about big people moving people and other big people, and it's about matchups.
Yes.
And I think the Niners did an excellent job of identifying what the weaknesses were with the Rams' defense by identifying what their strengths were, which is the Rams are good at two things: rushing the passer and Jalen Ramsey.
Those are two things.
Those are the two things that they excel at. The existence of Jalen Ramsey, and Kyle Shanahan did a great job of avoiding both those things. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was getting that ball out quick, 2.3 seconds, basically neutralizing the pass rush, and they were throwing at not Jalen Ramsey, not just not throwing at not Jalen Ramsey, but throwing at the linebackers all game long. I think about half of the targets were at the linebackers. And if I'm another team watching this game, you can't do everything the Niners do. You don't have a Deebo Samuel, but you can target those linebackers because that's the weakness of this Rams defense.
I just was figuring out where the hell it been.
Well, I think what happens is that styles make fights, though, right? It helps that when one team's weakness is your strength, when it's the thing that you can actually do well, or it keeps you from having to try to do something that's really outside of your box. If you're playing a team that is great at defending the run and that's great in defending inside the numbers, and now Jimmy Garoppolo has to go outside the numbers, then guess what, guys? You're crap out of luck.
Different game.
But when you're playing against the Los Angeles Rams and what they do well plays right into your hands, that's how you win. That's why when you look at the records of Sean McVay versus the other teams in the NFC West, and then you look at his record versus Kyle Shanahan, it is what it is.
Jimmy Garoppolo and Russell Wilson, their heat maps are like exactly opposite. Which, to your point, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, heat maps, always fun. Dan, let's talk about the Rams offense. They do have a bye week coming up, so they've got some time to fix some things. What should they fix in this time they have?
What they've gotten exposed with? I think that the last 2 weeks, the Rams offense has gotten exposed, at least a very specific part of their offense, and it's the interior of their offensive line. Talk to, really big part of this season was, how much they spend in empty and five-man protection. Well, they played against Tennessee and San Francisco, and they got whooped interior of their offensive line. I think they really have to focus on putting Matthew Stafford under center, because when they put him under center, it protects the weakest part of their offense when play action pass, which is the interior of their offensive line. Those guys are getting pushed back into the pocket way too much, and Matthew Stafford is so reliant on that protection in that empty world. It's not good enough right now. We often talk about play action pass and we go, well, it's to help the quarterback. I think in this case, it's really to help the interior of the offensive line. Play action, move the launch point of the quarterback, get him outside of the pocket. He sees things clearly, but more importantly, it protects the greatest weakness of this football team right now, which is the interior of that offensive line. It forces those defensive linemen to move. They don't know where the quarterback's going to be. It allows those guys to work in unison a little bit more in their play action pass. This makes me feel a lot like Tampa Bay last year, where we were like, you got to stop doing this.
You know what it is, though? Just like y'all fall in love with these passers. And when you see Matthew Stafford, you do a Dan Orlovsky. And when you see Matthew Stafford empty, when you see Matt empty, and he gets it here, and he goes, and he's here, and he's here, you fall in love with all that stuff. And Sean McVay has been so excited about this new toy that he's gotten away from the play action pass and moving. He's gotten away from getting outside the pocket.
Say it.
Say what?
He wants you to say run the ball.
Dude, they fell behind by like 3 I mean,
It's not just about the run.
Right.
Now, they do have to run the football because when you go back to when the team was good, Marcus,
Dan.
they ran the ball. But Todd
Dan.
Gurley's not showing up.
Right.
It's Henderson. It's Michelle.
Yeah.
They need to get Matthew Stafford outside the pocket
Yes.
and stop caring that he's so good at this
Yeah.
and he can throw 6 balls a game that nobody else can.
But my
That's not
point
showing that
is,
they win.
it's not so for Matthew Stafford. I think it's really for the interior of their offensive line.
Will you please say that they should?
Yeah, you
hand it
want to
off?
run the football. Welcome to any level of football.
Thank you.
But that being said, because I think true reality is this. They're going to play interior defensive lines like
Yeah.
Dallas, who's moving people around that is good. Like Green Bay, whose interior line is doing
Kenny
a good
Clark
job.
was
Tampa
gonna feed
Bay. Right? You
listen,
got to
there-
make sure
there-
you protect your
but
weakness.
There also is a consistency with the teams that are playing well.
What's that, Marcus?
They running the rock.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.